Be careful. Not everything is what you'd expect. It's a strange world with many mysteries, some of which you may not want to uncover. They may be hidden for a reason, as they can cause your death. You may not want to go through any strange portals behind doors after I tell you what awaits Coraline, and perhaps YB as well. The Beldam is not dead. She hasn't been defeated. She certainly isn't one to give up or play fair. And I can tell you for a fact, she's angry. Angrier than before. Coraline is in deep, deep trouble.
You probably think this world is a dream come true, but you're wrong.
This is part 3 of my Coraline theories, so if you don't plan on being extremely confused, I suggest you watch those videos beforehand. But for the rest of you who have already seen my theories, let's recap.
I'm your other mother, silly.
The Beldam, this spider-like creature, appears to have the ability to open portals to other dimensions and lure children in for what exactly? Their eyes? She possesses the ability to shapeshift and create a fantasy world for Coraline and children like Coraline who are unhappy with their own lives. Magic? Perhaps. Many people believe the Beldam to be 150 years old. You know what else is 150 years old? The house Coraline and her parents moved into. Now, why would the Beldam and the house be the exact same age? Well, they're not. No. The Beldam is older, much older. This is where my theory begins. It is believed that the other mother, who is known as the Beldam, got her nickname from the French word Beldam, which reminds me of a poem, La Beldam sans merci, the beautiful lady without mercy. This poem describes a woman, a fairy's child, a changeling with wild eyes, who took her lover to her elfin grot. Perhaps the Beldam, the changeling in this poem, wept as never before because for the first time she knew what pain was. She felt her heart shatter. She knew she would never see him again because although humans have souls, fairies do not. Oregon, the pioneer paradise that had cheap and fertile land. Hundreds upon thousands migrated to this paradise, including the Beldam, where she had a say in the construction of the Pink Palace. Fast forward 150 years later, in 2009, when the movie was released, Coraline moved in. Ever since the death of the love of her life, she dedicated the rest of her life to finding and capturing souls to see him once again. Alright, hopefully that was enough to refresh your memory.
And what is it you'd be finding, Coraline?
Okay, look, I saw your comments. Many of you agreed with my theory and a lot of you disagreed. And that's cool, we all believe different things. But so many of you had questions. Good questions I haven't even thought of. But one of the questions I saw a few times was, how is the Beldam from Coraline, who is a fictional character, the same Beldam from a poem written in real life? Well, okay, I never meant to say that the Beldam was real. What I meant to say is that the Beldam from Coraline may have been based off the Beldam in the poem. The events in Coraline are obviously fictional, but I could have probably explained myself better, so sorry about that. Look at these clips. Look at what they have in common. It's bugs. They all have bugs. Bugs are everywhere in this movie. Why? Because the Beldam loves them. Who do you think originally made the decision to put that wallpaper? She did, because she was the very first owner of that house. But let me show you something strange. Most of the house and rooms that we see are covered with wallpaper with bugs on them, or some kind of floral design. This is what she lets everyone else see. But in the very first scene where she is constructing the doll, the wallpaper is different. It's covered in birds. And if you look closely, it appears to be bleeding. A bird signifies freedom, peace, love, hope, but these birds, they are suffering. Now, let's turn the image around and zoom in. Is that another bird? Is it dead? It is. This is a room we never get to see anywhere else in the movie. It's hidden from everyone else. Maybe these birds are how she sees herself. She's suffering and taking the lives of those who also seek freedom, peace, love, and hope. Alright, let's take a step back. I know there are still a lot of you that are not convinced that she is a fairy and not just a spider. So I thought I'd give you some more proof. Same thing goes for the other father. Just because he looks like a pumpkin and she looks like a spider, I don't think that necessarily means that they are one. Where I come from, spiders don't hold the ability to shapeshift and make portals to different dimensions. I'm just saying. Please don't get mad at me. Fairies and the Beldam hold the ability to shapeshift. They can both travel through different dimensions. They both hold the ability to do magic. And they both love games.
He's got a thing for games.
Now let me tell you something about fairy folklore that you may not know. Names. Names hold power. If you know a fairy's name, you have power over them. In Coraline, we never learn her name. Isn't that just a bit suspicious? All we know her as is the other mother or the Beldam. She doesn't want Coraline to hold power over her, except maybe Coraline already does. But we'll get into that more later. The first thing the other mother does when Coraline arrives to her world is offer her food. In fairy folklore, you never ever accept food from a fairy. It's dangerous. Similar to the food, you should never accept a fairy's gift. Like Coraline accepts the other mother's gift. Fairies don't just give out gifts because they want to. They give out gifts because now you owe them something. And Coraline owes the other mother her soul. Coraline, stepping into the fairy ring at the beginning of the movie, gave the Beldam the power and the ability to set a trap for Coraline. In the book, Miss Spink and Miss Forcible actually warned Coraline about the well. They said it was dangerous. Weird how the fairy ring is right where the well is. And the well is believed to be another portal to this dimension of the other mother, so maybe it did give the Beldam the power to trap Coraline. By the way, some fairies do in fact eat humans, which is why the cat might have said,
Or maybe she just loves something to eat.
And lastly, fairies lack souls. And in the book, it doesn't mention anything about her seeking their eyes. It says that she is seeking their souls specifically. Fairies talk in dialect. Well, according to fairy folklore. And the songs in Coraline, many people believe to be French, actually isn't. They're not French. It sounds French, but it isn't. It's actually gibberish. So, if fairies talk in dialect, and the songs to us are gibberish, maybe the songs are in the language of the fairies. But hold on, that's not the only proof that I have for you. What I'm about to tell you next will surely make you reconsider who you believe the Beldam to be. So Miss Spink and Miss Forcible give Coraline a stone with a hole in it. Nothing extraordinary about that, but without this stone, there's no doubt in my mind that Coraline wouldn't have made it out alive. Sure, the stone helped her find the lost eyes, or as we actually know, souls, but actually, the stone did much more than help her win a game. So what actually is this thing that Miss Spink and Forcible gave to her? Well, it actually didn't take long at all to figure out what it was. It's called a hackstone, and this hackstone is actually also known as a fairy stone. This stone is actually used as protection from fairies. Protection from fairies. If that doesn't prove my theory, I don't know what does. Even in the book, it says, whenever she brings the stone first into the world, the cat tells her, "Oh, you brought protection." It's protection. It also gives you the ability to control them. In the book, whenever the other mother tries to hold her, she backs off because of the stone. A lot of you were asking me if the pumpkin fairy was actually a fairy working with the Beldam, why on earth would he help Coraline obtain this lost soul? But that's because Coraline had the stone. She had the stone, and with that stone she was able to control him in a way. Alright, maybe you are right. Maybe this pumpkin isn't a fairy at all. Maybe he is just a creation of the Beldam. But that doesn't change a thing. Coraline is still controlling a fairy. Coraline is controlling the Beldam. Everything in this world is her. She is controlling the Beldam and she doesn't even know. That's why she makes it her mission to steal that stone and burn it. She doesn't want to be controlled by Coraline. She wants to win. Coraline isn't the only one in control though. Remember that radioactive sand I was talking about in part 2? I think she uses that sand to be able to control the characters that she creates, like the other YB and the rats and the doll, which does move, by the way. Perhaps when she creates human characters, they hold a bit of free will and they are harder to control, which is why Mr. Bobinski is made of rats, but the other YB isn't, and well, he holds his own thoughts and emotions, which is also why he can't follow Coraline into the other world, although we know he would be able to survive in the other world, except he is just the Beldam's minion. So when she controls him, he will do whatever she asks for. Which, by the way, Mr. Bobinski is definitely working with the Beldam, because he is always talking to his rat and his rats apparently talk to him, and the only times animals are talking is in the other world. The cat only talks in the other world. In the book, the rats are only able to talk in the other world. Even the dogs are able to talk in the other world in the book. So Mr. Bobinski has to be traveling back and forth into the other world because he knows what the rats are saying. He knows about the little door. He knows this. And he's not the only one working for the Beldam. YB's grandma is also working for the Beldam. Why else would she let Coraline move in if not to save YB? Which, by the way, YB is in trouble. At the end of the movie, whenever they were trying to destroy the Beldam's hand, he stepped into, or rather fell into the fairy ring, which might have given the Beldam the power she needed to trap YB. Now, I do believe that Coraline actually did escape at the end of the movie, but that doesn't take away from the fact that YB and Coraline are still not safe. Now, I was gonna talk about the cat, but he is so mysterious. I have absolutely no clue who he may be to the Beldam, but I do think he may actually also be a fairy, as we see him travel through different dimensions willingly.